Despite the schemes introduced by the government to help businesses through the pandemic, it seems every day we're hearing of hundreds more jobs losses, and it's feared it could get worse as the government support is eased.
Now, already over 600,000 people have lost their jobs in lockdown. Currently, there are around 9 million workers on the government's furlough scheme, which you'll remember sees 80%, that's up to £2,500 a month, of wages covered by the state.
So from August, all changes happen and more of the burden will fall on the employers, and it's expected that many businesses will have to make some tough decisions regarding their staffing. We'll talk to Georgie about that. But let's answer the question, how do you cope when redundancy comes?
Let's speak to Jenni Bailey, who knows all too well what it's like to be made redundant. Back in 2014, and while pregnant, she was let go from her job as head of marketing at a university, but she turned disappointment into success, starting up a new business, Calla Shoes, with her redundancy money. Good morning to you, Jenni.
Good morning.
That sounds like a horrendous experience that you went through back in 2014.
So I'd gone back to work. I'd been back at work about 7 or 8 months after having my first child, and then they were making kind of large scale redundancies at the university, and I was going to be one of them. My whole team was being made redundant, but I'd actually fallen pregnant again. It wasn't planned, but these things necessarily never are. So I'd got pregnant again, and I was in a redundancy situation, and it was really stressful. It was upsetting. I think because I was pregnant as well, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get another job straight away with a big belly. And even if I kind of just went on maternity leave, I thought, I just was really stressed out about if I was going to be able to get another job with the same kind of flexibility.
But you did turn it around because you actually ended up starting your own business.
I did, yeah, because I kind of had this business idea in my head for a little while, but things, children and whatever, life just got in the way a little bit. So I just took it as an opportunity really to investigate and see if my business idea had legs
or feet. Sorry,
or feet. Yeah,
I had to say that.
Well,
Calla Shoes.
Tell us this business idea, Jenni, because I actually know what it is, and I want you to tell it.
Well, my business idea is that I've got this foot condition called bunions, and it meant that I couldn't find nice shoes to fit my feet. And I kind of had this, I'd kind of done some research online beforehand trying to find a solution and didn't find one. So I kind of thought, well, I spotted a gap in the market. So even though my background's kind of not fashion or footwear or whatever, I just decided that it was something that I could look into and to see if I could make it happen. I think I'd just been inspired by other people who would set up product businesses without even having any experience, in that particular sector. And so I went for it when I took my redundancy money. I took my maternity leave as the time to kind of get things going. And about 4 months after my youngest was born, I was out in Portugal visiting factories and getting prototypes made.
And I love the fact that you just thought, I'm just going to make shoes. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm going to make them. I think, maybe we need more of that attitude. How successful was the business?
So it's been going, I launched it officially at the end of 2016, and I'm still going now. So, I think most businesses don't necessarily survive after the first year. So to still be here in 3 years is great. I got some funding, some equity funding from this a fund called the British Design Fund based in London, and they kind of I went down to pitch to them Dragon's Den style, and they really kind of saw legs or feet again in the business, and we really could see where it could go, so they kind of put some money in, and I've had further investments since, and it's really going somewhere. It was until
yes, coronavirus. So what is the situation now with your company and your staff? Are they furloughed?
Yeah, so I took on two members of staff this year, in addition to the one full-time member I already had, and I took another part-time person on as well. So I was growing quite rapidly, and then I've had to put them on furlough just because I need to keep as much cash in the business as possible. And my shoes are really, they're designed for special occasions and for going out and work. They're not,
none of which we're doing right now.
No. Exactly. So the business has seen, a downturn. It's ticking along because I think people now are kind of starting to see that there might be light at the end of the tunnel, or maybe just buying because they're bored at home and fancy, cheering themselves up. But it's nowhere near the levels I was expecting. So yeah, all my staff are on furlough.
And are you honest with them, Jenny? Do you have to say, look, I know what it's like to be made redundant. I don't want to make you redundant, but if this doesn't get better, things might have to change.
Yeah, I have regular one-to-ones with them even throughout their furlough, just to kind of keep in touch to make sure they're okay. And, I need them to try and stay motivated in some respects, because when I want them to come back to work, I'm going to bring them back for on part-time from July the 1st. I wanted them to kind of still, have that energy to want to work again, because I think that's an issue with furlough. People just sitting around, lazing around and not really doing anything. So I just said to them, use this as an opportunity, because if you do end up in a redundancy situation, then you want to be in the best possible position to go and get another job, because it's going to be even more competitive than it was before. So I said, try and do some extra training, try and learn some new things, and keep your kind of spirits and your morale high. As much as you can to keep that positive mindset, really, so that if things are going badly, it is awful. And I'm not going to lie, when I was made redundant, I was crying a lot. I just kind of didn't really know what I was going to do at first. But then once I'd sorted it out in my head of what my plan was and what my next steps were, it kind of gave me that clarity and that focus to do something, to do something about it. Yeah. So I've been trying to say that to my staff as well. Jenny, I'm hoping that I don't have to make them redundant. This is it. At the moment I don't, but you never know, do you?
It's looming. Well, listen, good luck. I really hope you don't either. It's Jenni Bailey and her company Calla Shoes.